music make you happy?
Hi, my name is Bam and welcome to this new video. It's a reading vlog. I've not done one of those in months because guess who's not been reading? Me. How's everybody doing? How are you all of my reading vlog viewers that probably haven't watched any of my other like life related ones? I have set up Christmas decorations yesterday. It is the middle of December and the original plan wasn't to decorate because I've been busy. My flatmate and I have been busy and going home for Christmas, you know, visiting home. But slight change of plans. My flatmate is gone, so I am here alone. And my entire family has COVID. So as someone who has had COVID before, I cannot go home at the moment because I don't want to get sick again. So because there's just not a viable way to keep me in the house if I did get sick, or if like one of my parents tested negative while the other tested positive, there would be nowhere for me to sleep. So logistically it doesn't work at the moment. We're kind of just at a bit of a loss of what to do. So next week I could go home if they're all testing negative, but at the moment it's kind of looking like I'm gonna end up spending Christmas by myself, which is something that I am coming to terms with. Yeah, so that's a slight life update that none of you asked for, but you know, I figured it would be better to explain why I'm in my uni flat over the Christmas period than at home, because I don't normally film at home. But yeah, plans change and everything has just kind of gone a little bit off the rails, to be honest, and feeling a type of way about it. But let's get on to reading updates. My current like ongoing read that is relatively like new, all things considered, is All Downhill With You by Julie Olivia. This is like a theme park romance following like a marketing manager and like a ride engineer. I have filmed clips of me talking about this book as I've read it because I am this far through. As we can see, I have tabbed it mostly just with like entirely just with different shades of yellow to go with the cover because it's romance and it's not that deep, but I have really enjoyed this. I'm gonna insert the clips of me talking now. Okay, so I will not be including clips. Sorry, I'm eating a wrap. I will not be including clips because they were on my Google Drive and they don't want to download onto my phone. So I'm just gonna try and reiterate what I had said in those clips, but they're both like 10 to 15 minutes long, and I'm just gonna give you like a Spark Notes version of what I said. But basically, because I don't actually think I iterated what the actual plot of the thing was, but basically, this is everybody's favorite trope, hate to love, and I, as someone who is very picky about what she labels as hate to love, will gladly label this as that, because at the start, every reason to hate him. Basically, Lorelai has been in 2 incidents with a roller coaster that Emery built when he was a teenager. So she has that like disabling injury that she's got and is in a lawsuit with him. And it's dual POV, so you get both of their point of views. And very much at the start, Emery is a prick. He's very much like rich prick, like doesn't know his privilege, like, or at least doesn't acknowledge it in a way that isn't like self-righteous or anything. So yeah, it's also, you know, like grumpy sunshine, but you know, the grumpiness is mostly just he's an asshole for a bit. But yeah, the book definitely explores some really like interesting sort of like themes and dynamics, especially with the ideas of like classism and like, you know, ableism and things like that. Not like directly, it's very much just like me doing my English literature thing and reading into it. But that's kind of what I take out of it. With Lorelai dealing with a lot of people's like pity and like kind of underestimating what she's capable of, and stuff like that. And then Emery and his father obviously kind of like seeing this like small town theme park. It's in like the middle of Georgia. It's very like rustic and cute and things like that. Seeing that and kind of equating that to like country bumpkins and things and that sort of thing. And like there's very inherent classism in those sorts of comments. Emery has very much like grown. Obviously, it's been quite nice to sort of see him like shift. Obviously, because it's a romance, he's like basically just just sort of like acknowledged these things and figured things out, obviously from his own experiences, but also mostly from Lorelai's like influence, which is like, it's fine, it's a romance, I can deal with it. I think obviously if it was a real world context, then that's like, girl, don't try and fix him, please. But it's fiction, so I can let it go. But yeah, I do really like this. I think currently it's sitting at 4 stars, just because of little things. I think the final rating entirely hinges on what the ending is like, because personally I really don't want her to like drop her lawsuit just because she's like in a relationship with him. I would very much just like her to like go through with it and things like that. Yeah, so I've been sort of like collecting quotes that I like in my annotations and banking them on stuff that I'm going to post on Instagram. So when I finish this book, you will probably see the Instagram post for this before this video goes out. So if you do want to see some of my annotations, you can go and find them on there. But that's kind of the basic rundown of like my thoughts on the plot that I can remember off the top of my head. Hopefully I got everything. But yeah, it's really good. I really like the writing style. And yeah, so far it's very enjoyable, and hopefully the ending lives up to expectations or hopes, pretty much. So I will let you go back to me from an hour ago before I decided to have lunch. And now you're back with me. Hello. So, you know, yeah, I am currently on page 199. So I'm 200 pages in, and this book is about 330 something, I think. I can't remember. It's over 300 pages, just about. But yeah, those are my thoughts going through. Currently, we are like at that point of like their relationship developing, and I think the only additional like thought that I have like written in that I'm reading off of my post-it note. I inevitably add logic to certain things when I'm reading a contemporary romance, okay? I'm autistic, I can't help it, okay? But obviously, with like the previous mentions, Lorelai has like an injury that has caused her to be some type of disabled, right? And there's been a couple of like instances that have kind of like bugged me a little bit. Like, obviously I don't think this is the initial intention, but I think as someone who quite closely identifies with Lorelai, it's very easy for me to kind of like attach how I would view a relationship onto this, which it's fake, so I can do that. But basically a mild problem that I kind of noticed with their relationship is that Emery has a couple of instances where he very much equates a lot of Lorelai to her injury. But like there's a couple of lines that just kind of like I feel are slightly unnecessary in like the writing scheme of things and like really don't need to be there, but kind of like the core of the argument that like post-it note me made I don't know how many weeks ago was like they both have to live with what happened with her disability, and he can't keep looking at her like a mistake that he made, basically. Because if he keeps doing that, it's just not healthy if all he sees when he sees her injury affecting her and her disability affecting her is like a mistake that he made. Why would Lorelai want to stay with someone who views her that way? And why would Emery want to stay with someone who like, you know, reminds him of that, basically? That's the only like reading update and mild gripe that I have. Obviously I still have like 100 pages left of this thing, so could get better, could change, or that'll just be kind of a general criticism with that one. But yeah, this is kind of a book that I want to finish at some point, especially because I have some books that I need to read for assignments, and then I've got the like another one in this series, which is also technically a standalone but is in the same universe, which I want to read afterwards, because that's kind of the one that actually made me buy All Downhill With You in the first place. And then I have a couple of ebooks that I want to get started with. I don't normally read ebooks. I don't normally buy ebooks. I don't know why. I don't. I have, my Apple Books is almost entirely filled with downloaded fanfiction. I have A.O. Legacy, Mind Over Castle by J.B. Spring, which was something that was sent to me by the author a couple of months ago, and I initially planned to get to it earlier, but then COVID happened and I didn't do anything. So this one is, the cover's really pretty, I will give it that. Both of these ebooks are really short. This is 207 pages. That's the cover. It's 207 pages, so not too long and shouldn't technically take me too long. And the other one is Wild Souls by Faith Prince, which is another one that was sent to me by the author. Both very lovely little communication things. But this one is 185 pages. So both are very short. I want to go through, annotate them, review them, all of that business. And both are fantasy, which is really good because I've not read a fantasy in a little bit, since May, I think, because I read Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, and then I literally haven't read anything in full since. So I've picked up and put down books here and there. But yeah, so my kind of top priorities for reading in like the couple of weeks that I will film, or just 1 week, it really depends on how much goes into this, is All Downhill With You, and then those ebooks, and then The Fiction Between Us, which is the other Julie Olivia book I have. So that is the reading grand scheme of things that we're doing, and I will talk to you again later. Greetings, hello, good morning, happy Boxing Day. As we can see, I'm still in my flat, and to cut a long story short, I decided to stay for personal reasons, but I am visiting my family in January, and they did come by on Thursday and deliver presents. So I did get to open all of my stuff with them over FaceTime yesterday, which was very nice. Today, I have just run a couple of errands and tasks. I had to run to the shops to get bin bags. And I've just been cleaning from the mess I made cooking dinner last night. And also, I plan to bake today. I have a bunch of ingredients to make some cookies, and I've been meaning to like pick up baking for a while because I used to do it when I was like a teenager, but I haven't really found the motivation to do it since moving into this place when I said that I would. So today I have all of the ingredients, so I don't have to worry about going out and getting those, and I'm going to make some cookies, and that will be really fun and that'll be really sweet. And I'm going to sit on Discord with some of my pals and just kind of talk to them while I do it. A little pseudo baking stream with them. As for reading updates, have I read any of what I said I was going to read? Not really. I have read 2 chapters of The Hobbit though. So I picked this up in like May when I was stressed about assignments and stuff, but assignments stopped happening. I got a job and I got COVID and I haven't done anything since. So picked this back up. I'm read 2 chapters and I've like annotated everything. This is very much like, I own several editions of this book. This is my annotating copy. My others are like hardbacks and I'm owning them because I want them. So, but this is where all of my brain is going. So yeah, reading update on that. As for everything else, yeah, I haven't like read anything else, but I have done a lot of writing, which has been really nice. Because that also fell into a slump at the same time my reading did. So it's been nice to kind of do a decent amount actually in the last like week. But Christmas means new books. I only got 2 from my family, but I did get a lot of money, so I can buy more if I want. I got The Walking Dead, the 4th compendium, which is the last one I needed. It's a chunky boy. Yes, I am like rereading the 1st compendium at the moment. I'm not very far into it because look at it. But now I have all of them, so I don't have to worry about like just stopping at some point. I can just read it all the way through. And then from my sister, she got me Legendborn by Tracy Dion. Is that how you say her last name? I heard lots of good things about this. I know vaguely what it's about, enough that it like piqued my interest, but lots of people say a lot of good things about this book, and I am curious enough to want to read it. And Carrie from Carrie Can Read, one of my favourite little booktubers, she really likes this series because the sequel came out this year, I think, but I wanted to read this first before deciding if I wanted to pick that up. So, yes. Christmas haul of books. I got a few other things, and plans for today: baking, probably more writing, potentially playing more Pokemon because I also got that for Christmas. So, let's go on with that.
They look a little awkward, but they taste really good.
Hi, Happy New Year everyone. It is the 1st, it's the evening, and I am going to be closing out this vlog now so I can put it up on Tuesday. Just some last reading updates, and then I will talk a little bit about some mini goals and some things that I want to do for this channel. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. So we'll do the reading update first, which is literally like, I have read another chapter of The Hobbit and I have read a couple of chapters of this that was a sentence. And I'm having certain like mixed feelings about this at the moment. One thing I will say is that I've noticed is that the momentum really like slows down in like the second half. I think I'm like 66% of the way through at the moment, and it's starting to feel like more of a slog than the first half was. Like, I really liked the first half of this book, but ever since the first like almost smut scene, it's kind of lost its momentum quite a bit. It's lost a lot of the tension, which is kind of disappointing because it was so well built up, and like the hate to love kind of had some credence, but now it's like they're moving very quickly. And like kind of obviously most of the like third act conflict at the moment is about the fact that they can't be together because of like legal reasons, because she's suing his company and it would be like a conflict of interest or whatever, which yes, of course, but I'm sensing something coming up with like a journalist character, like a gossip forum character that is kind of, I know that I still have like a quarter of this book left to go, but it kind of feels like this character has come out of nowhere, when it's like she's established to be the daughter of one of like the most prominent minor characters in this, who we've known since the start. So I'm kind of like, why would you not have introduced her sooner? Because now it kind of feels like the third act conflict is going to be like convoluted and forced with like and I know it's like, yes, introduce characters for plot, but it's like you had like all the reason to kind of like sprinkle her through the first half of this book, but she's just kind of here, and like it's obvious that she's going to cause problems. So like, I don't know, I just feel like there could have been a bit more build up to that, because I had been assuming that most of the third act conflict was going to be regarding like his parents, or his dad at least, but it kind of, it doesn't look like it's going to go that way, which kind of feels like it's taking a sharp left turn on a road that was straight beforehand. So yeah, a couple of more gripes with this, which is really disappointing, because I was having so much fun with this in the first half, and it's just kind of lost so much of its momentum. And I don't know if it's half because I took a bit of a break from reading it because of uni, and like I've just personally lost momentum, or if it is genuinely the plot, but we'll see. I still have like 40% to go, so, well, like 30%, so I'm gonna try and push through. I do want to finish this book this month, like desperately, and I want it done and out of the way, but that's kind of more thoughts on this. And also my growing fear that she's only going to like accept parts of her like disability and like the image around it because he likes it is growing. I'm like, girl, please, like it because you do, not because he compliments you about it, please. Oh yeah, and Emery is suffering from what I like to call big boy syndrome, which is basically what most romance writers are doing with their male characters at the moment, which is like making them sound huge. And I'm like, my dad is 6'3", right? So I know tall people. My sister is 5'9" and I'm 5'7", okay? My family is relatively tall, but just the way that like female straight writers write their male characters at the moment, it makes it sound like they're 7 feet tall. And I'm like, bro, what is happening? It's so annoying. Like, give me a short king, for the love of God. Give me a short king who is not muscular, for the love of Jesus, please. Like, I don't know, give me a twink or something. My growing fear of the way this ends. Yeah. So that was my very heated book update for you. I hope we enjoyed. I don't know how many people like seeing me rant about books, but like I always end up talking a lot. But it's January now, and I get to start some more pages in my reading journal. I'm using the same one that I used last year just because I didn't fill this whatsoever, and there's no point in me wasting like the majority of a book. So I edited some of the spreads that I had from last year to kind of work better for me. I've kept like the bookshelf sort of spread, but I've kept it to one shelf this time rather than two, because two was me filling up space. And I am doing like monthly things. This is very much like, I don't have very many supplies at the moment. I'm planning on like making an Etsy order for a bunch more stuff to kind of help with my decorating, and then it will just be like, and then I have like a couple of like reading track pages, because my goal in general for this year is to try and read like a chapter of a book a day. That's kind of like the minimum that I want to read. And like, it doesn't matter how many pages, I just want to try and read a chapter of a book a day. And if I can read more, amazing, great job me. But yeah, because my reading goal for this year is 24 books, because I read 12 last year, and I figured, why not double it? Let's try. So yeah, reading goal is 24, and I really want to be able to kind of like read more, to do like actual like reading wrap-ups, because obviously in this channel I'm going to be doing like book spreads, and I didn't actually share like any of the ones that I did last year, which obviously wasn't many, but like I still did some. So in terms of like channel planning for the new year, I'm kind of taking a page out of like Mochi Bujo's book, who is like one of my favorite like journaling channels. I kind of want to combine like my journal spread like making with my book wrap up videos, so hopefully I can kind of like find the motivation to read a bit more this year, and like be able to make some slightly longer form content at the end of each month. I don't see myself doing like TBR videos or anything, just because like, as much as I might plan certain books with like book clubs, because I'm in Carrie Can Read's book club now, which we're reading Sorcery of Thorns this month, and I get to start that tomorrow because I'm buying it tomorrow. And I'm doing a lot more buddy reads this year. I have a few ongoing now with a lot of like my IRL friends. So yeah, I have more books planned to read, but you know, it's kind of a lot of like my buddy reads with my friends are very much like, we don't have an end point for this, because we know that we're all slow readers with mental illness. So, you know, everything is kind of up in the air with those right now. The only consistent sort of like one that I have is like Carrie Can Read's book club, and then a couple of releases this year, which the sequel to Heavenly Bodies is coming out in February, and I'm very excited. Expect a reading vlog for that as well, because of course, obviously. But yeah, so that's a couple of ideas for the new year, mostly revolving on book content. Obviously, I'm going to film a little bit more around like doing my dissertation, and like because I'm going into my last semester of my undergraduate, and I'm planning to apply for a creative master's for next year, so I'll probably sort of talk a bit about that as well. So just like a bit of extra life content and all of that stuff. And if you have any particular sort of like content that you want to see from me, do let me know in the comments. You can follow me on Instagram here at Bookish Bambi, the same as here, and I try and post a little bit more consistently on there, just like month wrap-ups and little tags and things like that. And we have a new vibe going, so that's exciting. But yeah, so that's it for this video. I don't know what will come in the coming weeks. I'm just going to kind of figure that out as I go and, you know, try different things out. But I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be. And like and subscribe if you want, I suppose, if you want to stick around, if you think I'm interesting enough. So yeah, see you later, bye.